The Caribbean, islands in the sun, and for decades, the #1 vacation destination for many seeking their own piece of paradise. Today, many of these islands have seen a huge influx of developers, transforming the landscape with multi-million-dollar real estate projects. The newest buzzword is that St. Lucia really is the next IT island for developers. Proof in the form of new construction is quite evident everywhere, from hotels to rooms to investment. Given this situation, St. Lucia is in a bit of a quandary, weighing the benefits of the significant potential for its tourism development against the need to protect its population and fragile ecosystems from the vibrant but intrusive industry. Not a moment too soon. Given the precipitous demise of the lone agricultural crop of any significance, the government is increasingly focused on developing the tourism sector. St. Lucia seems to have attracted an inordinate amount of attention over the past few years in the development of resorts that specifically include golf courses. The bigger the better, it would seem. Already, the 238 square mile island is committed to the development of an additional 7 new 18-hole golf courses in various locations around the island. The Greg Norman designed golf course at Le Paradis, already under construction in the heart of the St. Lucia rainforest and extending to the fragile coastline, seems at odds with the surrounding environment.
At the moment you just see the blisters on the landscape where we've cleared the vegetation. But of course when you start to see the manicured greens and the fairways and the tee boxes, it will be a very, very different story. To have more than one high-class quality golf course on St. Lucia is important, as is designed by Greg Norman, as you know. Probably one of the leading golf course designers in the world. Jack Nicklaus is coming, of course. These are two highly regarded golf course designers as well as top world-class golf. I think with regard to golf courses, how many? I don't think there's going to be a magic number, but I think if there are something like 3 to 4 signature golf courses within this island, I think that would be good for St. Lucia. I think like St. Lucia will become the golfing mecca of the Caribbean.
It may not always be easy to balance the issues of development with the interests of citizens, and sometimes government is faced with tough choices. However, tough choices need not place the community in harm's way, and moving forward sometimes requires some evaluation of historical evidence. Apparently, the interest in the development of these new facilities has not eluded the attention of the local community.
The fundamental difference is that we're actually going out and looking for partners that we believe are compatible to St. Lucia, versus really having an attitude of whoever comes, that we're grateful that they've come. In part, I think that the big adjustment that we're asking for is that we start measuring ourselves on our potential rather than comparing ourselves to some of our neighboring islands. Within 6 months, we've now put together a master plan for the development of St. Lucia, which we've divided St. Lucia into quadrants. So the east coast, where the Atlantic is, really being designated for the larger resorts because they're self-contained. View Fort for mixed use, like the Castries area, where you have resorts, you have boutique hotels, you have B&Bs. And then the west coast would really be for our boutique hotels.
Unfortunately, the paralyzed farmers on the island still have not figured out the means to successfully divert in new directions, and are unable to capitalize on the newfound attention in tourism. Still, the developments continue in other more remote communities, with new assurances that all will be in place to manage the operations of developers.
I was Assistant Chief Forestry Officer for a number of years, and then I went on as Chief Planning Officer in the Ministry of Agriculture for some time before I joined Caribbean Environmental Health Institute. And one thing that we always debated was the extent to which land for agriculture is reserved. Well, I think the main issue here is that we need to kind of establish some sort of balance. Okay, we can't clearly put a lot of golf courses on the island because it's limited land space. What are society's needs, whether it be for agriculture, whether it be for recreational values, aesthetic use of forests and so on, biodiversity, versus putting it under golf greens.
I personally think that is the impact offsets. That is very important. What's going to happen? You need water, so many thousand gallons of water per day for any one course. Now, can Wassa supply the demand from either View Fort? Can they supply that demand? The answer is no. You can hardly supply the city. grossly. Now what do we do? We're just going to clear the area. The movement inertia alone would cause a lot of concern. Let's take for one, the wildlife. We have already started losing the thrasher and prowling. What's going to happen? The movement. Our wildlife would move from one area. Perhaps they migrate to another area. We don't know.
The development of several new golf courses in even more sensitive places in St. Lucia must be a cause of some concern to area residents. Even if the government was able to solve the most impossible question of where will all the water come from to service these golf courses, we have the more dire reality of where will all the runoff go to.
When you have developers coming in with a development like that, obviously it has to be approved by the Development Control Authority. So there's an environmental impact assessment that has to be carried out. The impact of the project on the surrounding environment and its social impact also has to be assessed. Now there are referral agencies like the St. Lucia National Trust that are given the opportunity to review the environmental impact assessment and to make recommendations. But it's sort of like a very procedural, automatic sort of process.
In 2001, the St. Lucia Golf and Country Club expanded to an impressive 18-hole facility, almost doubling in size, snaking between the luxury homes at Cap Estate. The expansion also opened their real estate division to new residential developments, owned by the club, with the potential to sell properties and homes for millions of dollars. In order to